Hey guys, alright, it's Sunday, May 26th right now, and I still have two books I need to finish. The first one is my work read, Foundry Side. I'm about a third of the way through so far, and this book is really good. I'm really enjoying the magic system and the characters showing up in it. It takes place in a world where magic has kind of been industrialized, and so this city, Tavan, has like three major families that all control trade in and out of the city and essentially act as their own little kingdoms inside of this big city, right? Because each of these families has control of the magic, essentially. They've industrialized it. They use it in so many things. Like carts, for example, are able to move on their own if you use the right magic, the right tools to make it happen. So into this whole mix jumps our main character, Sancha, who is a lower class thief, and she ends up stealing a magical object from way in the distant past for a job that she's doing. And she ends up finding out this object is extremely powerful. And so from here, the story becomes, how does she protect herself from the people who are looking for it inside of the city, while also protecting the city and the people she loves from them as well. So far, it's really good, and it's surprisingly funny. Alright, book number 2 is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. This book is probably going to be the first 5-star book that I read this year. It is that good. It takes place in sort of a Mesoamerican world where we follow 3 characters who are all on their own journeys, as it were, both physical and otherwise, all heading towards this one city called Tova and centered around this thing called Convergence Day. This book is epic in the most literal meaning of the word. I really can't wait to get to the next 2, which the third one comes out this summer, I believe. Every time I pick this up, I feel like I'm about to get on, not even on a roller coaster, just on an epic adventure that I'm only just breaking the surface of. It is so amazing and so good, with deep characters and a rich world and an amazing magic system that you're only just sort of starting to learn about now. I am excited to finish this one. It's probably going to be the first one that I finish of these 2. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm giving myself until Friday. I will probably finish Black Sun. If I manage to finish Foundry Side, I'm going to be amazed. But I'm going to try really hard to do it because, last month I managed to read 2 books that were both pretty thick, and I would really like to be able to at least finish 2 this month, if not 3. So that is the goal. That is what I'm going for. All right, let's get to it. Alright, we're a whole month later, but I did it. So let's talk about these books. Starting with Foundry Side, this book was way better than I thought it was going to be. It was written by Robert Jackson Bennett, the same guy who wrote The Tainted Cup, which kind of surprised me because honestly I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this book, but it was really good. I like to pride myself on being able to figure out where a story is going, but honestly with this one, I didn't know what was going to happen or where things were going until the end of the story and until we got there. And what's even cooler is that not a single detail in this book is wasted. There are so many moving parts, and they all come together at the end like just this enormous puzzle. It's so intricate, but so well done and so satisfying to see happen. The magic system is really unique as far as I can tell, and it basically involves using this ancient language to kind of trick objects into breaking their own reality. So for example, you can trick a wheel by writing a certain sentence in this language on the wheel that it's actually going downhill, and by doing that you can create a cart that will roll as long as you need it to roll because it thinks it's going downhill, so now it's going to move. It's actually really fun to watch play out, especially when you see characters who don't know how the magic system works in the world kind of freak out as other characters suddenly make objects do just these insane things, like a sword causing a wall to explode into millions of little pieces. It's just a really clever, really fun piece of the world that Robert Jackson Bennett builds. Speaking of fun and clever, probably one of my favorite characters in the book was actually a sentient key named Clef, who also kind of functions as a MacGuffin within the story. He's really witty and has some really funny moments, but at the same time manages to be a lot of the emotional heart of the story and draws out some of the most emotional moments in the whole book. On the whole, I really, really enjoyed this book, and I honestly have very few negative things to say about it. I give it 4.5 stars, and the only thing that keeps it from being a 5 is the very thing that makes Black Sun a 5. The world that Rebecca Roanhorse crafts in Black Sun, and the story that she's trying to tell, feels really, truly epic, with a capital E. It often feels like you're teetering on the edge of an ocean shelf, with the gods and all these other mystical and magical things lurking in the depths just on the other side. The story follows 4 characters: Serapio, Chala, Naranpa, and Okoa. It follows them leading up to the day of convergence when there's a solar eclipse, jumping back and forth across a timeline that goes from months, years, days, and weeks before the event, all eventually culminating at the climax of the story on the day itself. The story itself hinges around Serapio's journey to the city of Tova. The story itself hinges around Serapio's journey to the city of Tova with Chala, where he plans on enacting ancient prophecy guided by his god. Meanwhile, Naranpa and Okoa live in the city of Tova, and each kind of have their own turmoils going on that help to create a sense of dramatic irony to the greater story that we see building with Serapio. Ultimately, all of these characters feel extremely real and complex, and we see them struggle in life with who they are, what they want, and what their roles are supposed to be. The characters feel really real and complex, and we see them struggle with the divide between their roles in life, what they want, and who they are, all while trying to navigate being a good person within those boundaries. I think I've said before, earlier, it's been ages, that this book is based on, ancient Mesoamerican cultures and stories. And so if you're someone who's looking to kind of expand your fantasy palette out past the typical Western-inspired medieval setting, this is a really good place to start doing that. And that's it for now. If you guys have read these books, I would love to know what you think. And if you want to see more stuff like this, hit subscribe down below. I'll see you next time.